left. Most of the time, A.G. Hall here with you again on Detail. Just trying to break down this playoff game between Toronto and Philadelphia. Now, one of the things that, if you're trying to start a game off and you're paying attention to how you align here, Philadelphia has Embiid, so they're going to put Redick on the offensive side because, they feel like they're going to get the tap and they're going to try to gain an advantage on the tap, whereas Toronto is going to go too deep. They're covering up Redick here. You have Kawhi matched up here with 33, and then you have Siakam and Lowry here with Redick, and then Danny Green over here with the other 76er. Now, Lowry ends up guarding Redick, okay, and Siakam's going to be matched up with Simmons, and these two guys are matched, and these two guys are matched. But watch the let's see how Philadelphia comes out of this. So on the tap, Simmons goes hard left. Now Siakam was on the other side, so he has a sprint. Lowry's following Redick to the weak side. And then this is important. The big guy here does a good job of sinking. Even though Embiid has three-point range, we're still going to sink here at the elbow because Simmons has a full head of steam, and you want to always make sure that you try to build a wall. Danny Green is matching up, pointing away to Redick, and then Kawhi is on the wall. And on the ball reversal, Gasol closes out. Danny Green is trying to take away a shooter here. Redick's coming off. And, if you watch, then we get the push out here by Lowry. So coaches all the time, we get on players about making a call and communicating. Well, anytime there's a lapse and you can have a player who's not going to make excuses of, not going to allow something bad to happen. So whether Danny Green hears the call or not, Lowry physically pushes him out, and that's how they make the switch. So that's the difference between having players on the floor that aren't going to allow mistakes to happen. That's a no excuses play here. Okay, you didn't hear me. I'm going to shove you out. And then Gasol does a good job of dropping here. Okay, I'm always a fan of a post player who's on the perimeter guarding a perimeter player. Even if, Embiid is not an elite shooter, but even if you're guarding an elite shooter, you still have to be on the wall and help protect here. And then we have a fast handoff here, which, it's tough. If you're guarding the person at the elbow area and your teammate is trailing a shooter on a handoff, you're in a tough position. Because if you jump out here, then he's going to keep it. Gasol's not going to be able to get there. And then if you stay here, then you got a prolific shooter like Redick coming off taking a shot. But Siakam jumps out, okay, and Danny Green makes the adjustment. You can see Gasol diving in to help Danny Green, and then you get the kick out. Here, Lowry probably could have stunned it, but he's guarding a pretty good player here, so he holds. And then Embiid puts it on the floor and takes it too. So in that situation, Lowry wouldn't have wanted to come out anyway because, again, Embiid is not a prolific three-point shooter. You don't want him to fake stunt or even stunt there and get the quick swing over for their open look. Transition, Lowry's putting pressure, moves the ball in transition, and we have an isolation here. I think Redick should have slow played this a little better. Okay, again, Jimmy Butler's covering up Kyle Lowry. Embiid, Gasol's a little bit better shooter here. So Embiid has to, it's tough. If you get too deep, then they're going to kick it out. So you have an isolation play with Siakam. And actually a good challenge there. You get the offensive rebound. Phillies with the quick inbound, one pass. The transition game is if you're talking about you really want to be a transition team, like if you look at Redick here, he's head down, okay, and he's in the track stands and he's getting ready to roll. Ben Simmons is finding the open spot. Even though Redick isn't sprinting, I thought he was sprinting a little bit faster. He's still getting to his spot. An up and down game here. Now I'm I'm not sure. So if Siakam rebounds, Jimmy Butler is trying to smash the point guard. I would have liked to, have seen him come off of Lowry and take the ball. And then they could have matched up better in transition. Instead, you have Embiid picking up the ball. Then they go to the handoff. Embiid still on Siakam. Great job of trailing. You're talking about a proper way of defending the handoff. Earlier, we saw Danny Green trailing Redick. Here, Ben Simmons is doing a good job of fighting over the screen, the handoff ball screen, and staying with the ball. Not a great screen there by Siakam. And then the big man is giving ground here. Okay, he's not directly in the driving lane, but he's close enough to where he can make an adjustment, and then he would have to sprint back out here. Redick is on Danny Green, who he makes his money shooting threes, so you really don't want to come over and help as much. But he does stunt. Okay, you see JJ Redick stunts, and it forces Kawhi to pull up there, and then he takes the mid range jump shot. So a great job by Redick. Okay, of stunting. Okay, doesn't really recover, but he does enough to make Kawhi. Kawhi had to kick out. He decided to take the jump shot. Okay, we always talk about everybody has a different strategy on transition defense. In the NBA, most of the time those guys are sprinting back or they're getting back and rather than going for offensive rebounds. So when that shot goes up, you'll see Toronto's guys heading back. Lowry, Green, Siakam, they're all headed back. Gasol's giving it a look, so he's the last one down. So now when you're talking about stopping the ball and building a wall, they're not asking one guy to stop the ball. In most cases, you hear coaches yelling at one guy to stop the ball, but really that's a team thing. So Lowry should have been over a little bit more. Gasol maybe one or two steps faster. Okay, and they don't allow that deep penetration. They get the kick out, and Embiid takes the jump shot. Which, if you're Toronto, you're okay with that shot, and if you're Philly, you're okay with it because it's early in the game, and that shot is not going to break you. Again, you're talking about help on the wall and transition defense. Okay, great job initially by Jimmy Butler, but Kawhi is a great player. He puts it on the floor and gets in the gap, and they get an open look there. Again, building a wall in transition. Gasol walling up, Danny Green helping over. Okay, and you're forcing a kick out jump shot. Great job by Toronto. Gasol building the wall. Good cut by Joel Embiid. Marc Gasol walling up like post players. Danny Green probably over helps a little bit there. I'd like to see Kawhi be a little bit more engaged, but he's checking the shooter. So mentally he's into it. And then you get another perimeter jump shot. So you're getting long shots, which is why the score is 2-0. Again, another long shot. Not great transition defense. Let's see what happens here. Say nobody really stops the ball. Jimmy Butler's kind of cruising. The rookie is coming over to find Kawhi. Then Redick leaves the ball. So now we're in a scramble situation. Yeah, just not a good job. Redick, I think, decides too late that he's going to come off and go find his player instead of holding there. But not great communication by Philadelphia there. It's amazing how, like, in college, it's tough to get kids to identify. Like, if you watch Danny Green here, he's just going to say, hey, I got the ball. One hand up. Kawhi's really headed to take the ball because that's who he's matched up with. But Danny Green is calling it. So Kawhi goes to find another player. In this case, it's J.J. Redick. Now we're in the ball screen. 33. I don't know why I can't remember his name, but he's a pretty good scorer. So in this ball screen coverage, which we call showing little, Danny Green is making the decision to go over, which means Gasol, Marc Gasol he's gonna stay in the driving lane, and he should give ground as to not give up a layup. If you go over the screen on a shooter, what you're telling him is that, hey, I'm not going to give you a 3-point shot. And the post player is saying, hey, I'm not going to give you a layup. Okay, so let's see how that plays out. He gets in the lane, takes the mid-range contested shot. Okay, ends up kicking it out to Embiid, who takes a mid-range shot. So that's a pick and pop situation. You know, NBA teams, they know you're showing little. They know that post is going to sag. In most cases, they're going to run a pick and pop. Now you're in a 2-on-1 situation with this post. Danny Green does a good job of getting back to contest without fouling. And then we get the kick out to Embiid over here.